Get ready to move, get ready to groove. We're bringing the funk, gonna make you move. Life back system, it's time for change.
All right, you guys, so let's talk about this liver, hormones, what's going on inside of our body. This is critical. Literally the most profound part of this entire program is learning and education on how to be a healthier you. I'm working on me and you're working on you, but we're all on this same wellness journey together as warriors to be able to overcome these obstacles. So share your journey. If you had thyroid issues, you have diabetes, you have type 2, you have autoimmune disease, histamines, mast cell, SIBO, gut issues, inflammatory issues, bowel issues, colon issues, cancer, literally share it because your testimony will help other people. And I really can't say that enough. Your story matters, and it matters to me. It helps me bring you more information, cutting edge studies, things that are going on in other countries that America has not even woke up yet to, especially like how we eat and the chemicals going in our body and the long-term damage that it has caused on our liver. And the doctors are not even acknowledging this. They're not addressing it. We all know that MAHA is here, right? But is MAHA actually enough? Is it going to help you get better? To some degree it will, but you have to actually be your own self-advocate. You have to take care of your own health and be responsible for that. Be accountable for it. I see every single day people going, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I have this happening and this happening and I had a histamine flare up and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what did you do? Well, I went out drinking with my friends. Okay, drinking is not acceptable. That is a toxin going in your body. I took a bunch of Tylenol. I took Advil. I ate food, whatever it was. Maybe pork doesn't work anymore. We are all just slightly different. But at the end of the day, my goal for you is to determine what is going to work best for you. And the more education I give you on that, the more you're going to be able to dial in and really understand how things affect you through your liver, which gives you the outcome. Okay, so periodically, every 3 months, 6 months, I have people going in for blood work. The first thing you need to understand is that blood work is from over 90 days ago, whatever you were doing. So let's just say, for example, it's March, and what were you doing in December is pretty much going to determine what you see on your blood work now. So we all know in December we had Christmas, we had Thanksgiving, we cheated, we didn't cheat, whatever. I didn't cheat, but maybe you did. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you stay on track. So even if you get a little bit in the ditch or a little bit of a spin out, a little bit in the mud, I'm your tow truck. I'm going to pull you back up. No judgment. I am here to listen and help, not judge. So on that note, you go in and the doctor pulls a liver panel and you're like, hey coach, I got all these numbers back. It says I'm high, I'm this, I'm that. Am I okay? Am I really okay? So just remember that those are numbers, and I'm not saying to ignore them because that could be a medical crisis. I am not a doctor, but what I am going to tell you is to remember how you feel. Do you feel like things are wrong? Are you having some symptoms of metabolic disorder? Are you having symptoms that is obesity, a thyroid flare up, hair loss? Like, what's going on inside your body? Is your cycle gone? Is it there? Is it too long? Is it too short? Is it bleeding too hard? Like, there's a bunch of stuff that it's your body. Months ago, I taught on how your body births babies and they scream for your attention. Even something as simple as like a major thyroid inflammation, like you look like you have this goiter and you're like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, your thyroid is screaming because you're out of balance in those hormones. It is time to address the liver, the kidneys, the pancreas, your glycogen conversion, what's going on with your glucose, your diabetes. It's not a joke. Like, we literally cannot play with our life. You only get one. You don't get to come back. There's no second opportunity. There is only today. So today you need to take accountability for what you're doing and the decisions you're making. If you think 2 pieces of chocolate a night is going to be okay, you are sadly mistaken. If you think you can do this 3 or 4 times a year and get away with it, you are sadly mistaken. Why? Because you already did that for 40 years. You already did that for 50, 60 years. Maybe you already drank for over 47 years of your life and you're only 70 years old. This is not okay because we damaged our liver. And now we have to try and get it healthy. So you go to the doctor and they pull up a liver panel. Maybe they're going to pull up a hormone panel, but it really doesn't matter because if you already have the symptoms of hormone imbalance, you have acne, hair loss, whatever those things are, weight gain, obesity, sluggish, tired, irritability, fatigue. These are signs that if you're coming home from work and sitting on that couch fully exhausted, we have a hormone imbalance. Each of those have to be looked at, including your minerals. So your liver panel is going to either determine that you have no issues, or it's going to come in and say non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or it's going to be alcoholic liver disease, right? So one or the other or the three is going to pop up. So I just want to give you an example of some testing, but I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's very medical, and I'm going to give you the layman terms. But let's just say hypothetical that you had your liver panel done and you have ALP, ALT, AST, and GGT numbers, right? These numbers coming together. These numbers are metabolic testing that's going to say, hey, there might be something wrong with your liver. You're either low, normal, just above normal, or high, or just low. Like you're going to be somewhere on that scale that has been based off a lot of other people who were sick. Okay, so remember, most people who go for blood work have already been sick, and their doctor orders them to go for their annual blood work, and this is determined off the people in the beginning of the year. So once this happens, if they see there's an issue, and they're not really concerned about it, but you're concerned because you have these babies that are crying that want attention, and the doctor's like, no, you're fine. I'm not worried about it. We'll check you again in 3 months or 6 months or even a year, right? What goes on in a year? If you don't change your habits, you are progressively getting worse. There's just no way around that. It's like atrophy of a muscle, a gland. It's not going to come back until you get that working again. So now they might say, okay, you have a little bit of an off balance. Let's do some imaging scanning. We're going to check the liver. You might have a fibrosis scan. They're going to check the liver, or they might do an ultrasound to see what's going on with that liver function. So now we look at the liver function, and it's a test. We have an enzyme test, and it's either high or low. And then underneath that, they're measuring the processing of the proteins, your enzymes, and your bilirubin. And then from there, it's either going to be high or low, and it's going to show the relation to all the different diseases going on that you've had these symptoms of. And they're like, well, I don't know, your TSH looks good, or your gut enzymes look great, or whatever it is. We don't see an obstruction in your bowels. We don't know what it is. There's a reason why you're a patient. There's a reason why every single human is different. And to be honest with you, if I was a doctor, I'd be really upset that I could see 7 women in one day and every one of them be diagnosed differently. But we are humans. We are unique. We are different. And every way that something affects us is going to be different. Let's just say that, for example, your liver enzymes are off and you're eating shellfish. You're going to continue to throw them off if that's your culprit. But if your culprit is alcohol and you continue to drink, that's going to be your culprit. But it might not be the same for the other woman, but they have the same results on the liver test. So we really have to just be a self-advocate and dig a little bit deeper in to understand what's triggering the triglycerides, what's triggering the ALP and the AST and the ALT, what's making these off. I guarantee you, if you were to evaluate your day and what you do, and you looked at the carbohydrates, the sugars, the toxins, the products you're using, you could easily identify, if you're truly truthful, you would easily identify exactly what is bogging down your liver. As an example, if you're using body spray, that could be causing toxin. It is, not could be, it is for sure giving you toxins in your liver. It's causing it to have to congest down, go sluggish, which ultimately ends in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It just is toxic, right? It's sluggish. That could be a pretty quick fix if you catch it in time. You can stop using these products, quit using that lotion that smells so good, quit burning the candles that are amazing, and most importantly, detox your environment. Because if you're already carnivore and you're not eating sugar and you're not doing all the other things that you used to do, carbohydrates, sugar, ultra processed foods, fast, quick freezer foods, box foods, you've eliminated all that, but you still don't feel good. It's time to go to the next level, which, to be honest with you, that was my first level. The very first thing I did was I got rid of every chemical that was possibly affecting me that I could control. So obviously there are some things I can't control. Maybe things from in the house that are from your heater or from your microwave or your lights or things like that. We can always do a little better, but let's face it, we live in a world that's full of toxins from emissions of cars, airplanes, trains, all this type of stuff. So just do your best. Now, if you're high, they're going to relate it to different diseases. Or if you're low, they're going to be looking at the liver functions and why is this happening? What's causing? Could it be hepatitis? Could it be other diseases? Could it be iron? What's going on inside that liver that has got it to a point that it's not working optimally? I'm not going to say perfect. I'm not even going to say normal. I'm just going to say optimally. And that would be you. That wouldn't be compared to me or anybody else. Literally, it's you. And when they're measuring these things, we're also going to get a result, the outcome. So the outcome is the function of what is affecting it. Could you have contacted hepatitis B or C? Could there be inflammation in the liver? Maybe you have a liver bile disease. This is totally different. So it's the conversion. You don't have a gallbladder. What is going on in the ducts? How is your body not absorbing the nutrients that it needs, which would be malabsorption, right? And then if you're on medications, are the medications affecting the liver? Most, and I'm not going to say all, I'm not a doctor, most medications affect the liver inadvertently and wrongfully. So it does start to build up, especially if you've been on them 15 or 20 years. On a side note, I was living in so much pain. Doctors couldn't figure anything out from undiagnosed pain, fibro, that some days I was up to 12 Aleve a day to walk on my feet. That is absolutely insane. I refuse to take painkillers, but I was killing my liver by doing that. It even says on the bottle, I think it's either 1 or 2 every 24 hours, whatever it is, and don't quote me on it. But literally, I was killing myself worse than if I would have taken the painkiller, right? But I was determined to be all natural. I was determined to do things holistically. I was doing all kinds of different oils that actually in the long run were even toxic. But we grabbed for these straws to the point that we're like, what do I do next? And if you're here and you're on carnivore, you have made the most wisest, most brilliant decision you could ever make. So now the studies are coming out and they're saying, but is carnivore safe for everyone? Do we need this? Do we need that? Here's the deal. If you get on carnivore and you stay here 2 years, 5 years, and your blood work is good and you feel optimum, you like myself, you feel better than you've ever felt in your whole entire life, you have found the key to unlocking your liver disease. You are back on track, right? You've got your life back. So what about if we look at here and we have impaired functions in our liver? What does that mean? Impaired functions in your liver could be a lot of cellulite in your thighs, a lot of belly fat, back of the arm fat, breast fat, back fat, swollen feet, swollen lymph nodes. You could just literally like see it popping up all over your body, but you didn't know that all along it was your inflamed liver. An inflamed liver is a lot easier to take care of than liver with cirrhosis. I'm just going to let you know ahead of time. If you are here and you have signs of being inflamed liver functions, I highly recommend do not play with fire. Do the best you can to get back on track. And then the other thing that they're going to look at, as we were talking about the liver bile, they're going to look at like how that function is, the volume going on in there. And from there, they can determine if there's any other issues going on. If in the event that your doctor says, no, everything looks good, and you still have symptoms, don't necessarily go to the thyroid, come back to that liver again. And we're going to talk about some ways that you can focus on the liver to get your hormones balanced. Now, this is all about the connection between liver and hormones and the brain. So how does that look? You're going to go in, you're going to get your blood drawn. They're just going to put a prick in your vein. They're going to pull some out. Depending on if they send the labs away or if it's local. Sometimes you get same day results. Sometimes you'll be in the office and they'll say, or the emergency room. You've already been there. You're there. You're sick. And they say, well, we need to do an ultrasound. We need to do a scan. We need to figure this out. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Do not be scared. This is the first step to getting healed, because if it went undiagnosed, now you're looking at really serious life-threatening issues, right? So kind of like a second lease on life. Somebody's found it. Great. Now what are we going to do? We're going to get some test results. We're going to figure out a treatment plan. Then as you get a treatment plan, you have to also be aware, is it working? Are my other symptoms going away? Is my belly fat going away? Is my glucose good? Is my insulin good? Am I feeling, like my ketones are good? There's a lot of stuff happening there. The only person who can be an advocate for you is you. All right, so now we move over here. We have our high-low. We have what they call a low, and then a normal, and then a high. You could be, on this side of low. You could be in between low and normal. You could be straight up normal, or you could be between normal and high. And then you could be ultra high. So this, when it comes out of the blood work, is what's going to determine what's next. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go, wow, she has non-alcohol fatty liver disease. She has, low bile. She's got some inflammation going on in the liver. But they also might come back to you and say, okay, your AST is normal. Your ALT is abnormal. It's 2 times higher than the AST. And now we know it for absolute fact that your liver has been impaired or injured from alcohol or drug abuse. Typically, it's alcohol. So if you've been a drinker your entire life and you've just decided you can't take it anymore, it's time to clean up your habits, and you've got liver functions going on that aren't in your favor, please don't ever touch the alcohol again, but also don't just cold turkey quit. And I know that sounds very contradictory, but you need to work on a treatment plan. Remember, we talked over here, the treatment, and get yourself off safely, because it has been known that people who have cirrhosis, they cold turkey, they also can have a very adverse effect from that. So you need medical care, and you need to be under a doctor's treatment. So please pay attention to that. Okay, so now we realize what happens, and they decide more tests are going to be necessary, and even potentially a biopsy to make sure cancer is not there or the end stages of liver disease. If in the event they don't feel that, they're going to tell you straight up, you just can't do these things anymore, because they're not responsible for the choices you make. You're responsible. And at that point, they're just going to say, you should never do this again, because if you do, you're shortening your life, or you might only have 30 to 90 days to live if you continue this path. That means there's a little bit of hope there, right? So now we talk about the dopamine and the serotonin and going from hopeless to hope. When that serotonin gets hit and that hope comes up, you need to hang on to it and lock in, because that's what's going to start this healing process of your liver and all those hormones. So let's move down to the hormones. The liver is not actually manufacturing your hormones. So it's not making the dopamine and serotonin, but what it's doing, it's metabolizing it. So a lot of other glands are making your hormones. And then from there, the liver has to take care of them, and it eliminates what's not needed. And then it pushes back in what is needed. So it has a process in this factory. It's absolutely manufacturing healthier cells for you to get rejuvenated or to renew and rebalance there. But it also is the warning signal of out of balance. So for example, your thyroid is off whack, it's not, your TSH isn't coming back properly. Typically that's the metabolism going on, or metabolizing going on inside the liver. So we would want to take a look at the liver, but most doctors don't even want to go there. They're just like, here's a prescription, right? So if it's not working, you have thyroid, brain fog. I listed a few things over there: high blood pressure, mood, you have infertility, you've got energy that's plummeted, you just feel horrible every day after work, you're sitting down on that couch, you're so fatigued, you're tired, you have weight gain, you have addictions, low libido, totally no sex drive at all for a male, he cannot become erect. This is all blood flow. This is all what's going on with those hormones, the metabolizing in the liver. So from there, you end up that you have a lot of diseases going on, and unexplained diseases, unexplained mitochondria, ATP, things that are not working anymore, immune diseases, and your immune system is very low. You're going to go, wow, my overall health is in the toilet, and I have extreme heart issues. So my blood pressure shoots up, my blood pressure comes down. I feel good, I feel bad. I'm not even doing anything, and I have heart palpitations. I have a heart murmur. I have all this stuff going on in the heart area. This is a blood flow area from your liver. So again, this is all metabolized by your minerals and your hormones that's going on inside that liver. What are you going to do from here? You're going to call the doctor, and he's going to look at your liver panels, And he's going to go, well, you know, you're a little low, a little high. Clean up your nutrition and things should be okay. You guys, it's a little bit more than cleaning up your nutrition. It is to a point, literally, that you must stop whatever you were doing. You are in a very critical ER 911 situation. And if you think I'm joking, those people who died of liver cirrhosis without knowing they had it, they're not even here to give you a testimony. So pay attention to the ones that can tell you that they've been there, learned by that experience, and they're going to help you have a healthier walk. So now we get here. I want you to get through the liver panel. And I want you to remember the liver is your control tower. This is the control power. This is the powerhouse of your body. This is the factory inside your body. So when you have all those other things that I just listed, plus hundreds more, it's really time to look at the control tower, the neurotransmitters, what's going on between, you know, your estrogen, your testosterone, your progesterone, your dopamine, your serotonin. I mean, my gosh, there's thousands of hormones going on inside there. Maybe not thousands, that could have been exaggerated, but you do want to be paying attention to it, right? Because we all have different things happening. And even with like diseases like autism and MS, these things can be helped by going carnivore. So the simple solution is clean up your nutrition, start getting the red meat in, and then from there, literally the first month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever you can do, wean off, go beef, water, and salt. Try and go as raw as you possibly can. That has been a huge struggle for me coming from a vegan standpoint. Seeing the red meat is always something that I've struggled with. I don't even want to go there, but I'm going there. I am making my best effort to move towards that each and every day. Even taking fat and not eating it rendered, which is my favorite, but instead having it seared on both sides just a little bit, and then get the actual fat in its I guess you call your raw form, you know, the natural way, because that's when it has the most amount of nutrients in it that helps our body heal. And I can tell you this 100% testimony that I have healed. Well, I didn't heal it. God healed me through going back to the basics of being a carnivore. Okay, back to the liver. So this control tower is the communication tower to your brain and your gut. So the liver feeds the gut feeds the brain, which I feel like the gut is our first brain. Our brain is our second brain. And then the brain tells the liver what it needs and what is too much. So this is that high-low ratio of what's going on inside the liver. What do we want to do with this? We want to kind of stop the insanity. And the first way to fix that is water, sleep, nutrition, proper minerals. Make sure you're getting that salt in this mouth, this pie hole. Stop the junk. And then on the skin, stop, you know, the toxins, and then the liver hopefully can start to repair and heal itself. And personally, I have seen miracles happen when we start to get our liver functioning properly. Okay, so now we balance our liver. We start to see balance in our hormones, and we start to realize that our metabolic system in our liver is actually working, because things are starting to get better. We see really good signs. The downfall is that we have this addiction and we go right back to the sugar. We're just like the rat chasing the cocaine in the cage. We have to stop. We have to stop that sugar. It is the most powerful, legal, addictive drug on this planet, and we are starting our infants on it, right? Like, I didn't have that as a child. We were lucky to get a piece of a cake or even have a cake as a child. It was not permitted. And I still ended up a sugar addict. So even though I had a great start, and thank God for that, I led towards the sugar in my teen years, and then in my adult years. You know, I earned it. I deserve it. It's good that I can do this. I can make my own decisions. I'm an adult. Well, unfortunately, I also didn't look into the chemicals the FDA was allowed in and all the things that were approved. And why were they approved? So that we would get hooked on medication. By the grace of God, I've never been on medication, not even for my thyroid. It was prescribed. I refused to take it. I went for healing instead. And I'm telling you guys, we can't all do that depending on where you're at, but wherever you're at, you can make improvements. Just remember that there's always hope in this very hopeless world. Hang on to that. Okay, so now when we start to get the metabolic system, the metabolizing in our liver working perfect, you're going to know it because your symptoms are going to diminish. So now you're not having thyroid flare-up. Just as an example, I had thyroid eye disease. My eyes, both of them actually popped out, but my right eye popped out really bad, and it remained that way I went and saw an optometrist on it. They said there's no way that it's ever going to go away. You cannot have surgery. You're not a candidate for it. It's just not going to happen. It happened. And it happened when I got rid of the toxins and the food, the chemicals. It was a process, you guys. It just didn't happen overnight. I had to hang in there. I had to reduce my stress levels, change my adrenal glands. There was so much happening there that it wasn't something as simple as like eat the meat and you're going to be healed. But the meat was the foundation of what started healing my liver so that my body would get rid of the inflammation. And then, of course, from there, reverse the diseases. It's a strategy and we're all different, but hang in there. As your coach, I will do my absolute best to get you through that. Okay, some of the hormones that are made in other glands that we kind of want to focus on just a little bit because these all kind of wreak havoc on our body. So we have our aldosterone, I think is the pronunciation. This is your water retention system. If you are puffy in your legs, you have weight issues, you have blood pressure issues, you have cellulite, weight gain, water, just that was me, to be honest with you. I had a lot of inflammation, swollen feet, swollen ankles, swollen face. I don't laugh now, but I look back and I go, wow, what a carb face I had, because I look like this puffy little chipmunk. But I didn't think about it at the time. To be honest with you, I just felt like that was part of aging. I just kind of accepted what I was told. And my bad. It makes me not sad, but it just makes me go, why did I listen? Why didn't I stand up for myself? Because I matter the same as you matter. And each and every one of us matter. Every husband, every child, everyone. If they're not old enough to make these decisions, you need to matter for them. If you're bringing your children up on sugar, shame on you, because you know better now. That's why you're on this channel. That is why you know that doing that is wrong. And if you're not willing to lead them to the right pastures, we got problems, right? It's the same as being a Christian. If you're a Christian and you know it, and you don't bring your children to the Lord, that's your job. And then he will work on them from there. He's always working on them. They're his kids, right? It's the same thing in the nutrition. You have to give your children the sound studies, the foundation, the belief system to know that short-term pleasure of eating that sugar is going to lead to very, very, very long time pain. And I'm talking years, because I suffered probably for over 40 years needlessly. Like, how stupid. I can't get those 40 years back. God's not giving me more time. I don't get to start over. I don't get to come back. So how wrong of me, and I hate saying the word stupid, but literally I did not pay attention to it. And then I made the exact same mistake by giving my children the exact same or worse foods, right? Because I wanted their life to be better than mine. That's not better. That's insanity. That's me saying, oh, here, let me assist the government in taking control of you. It's rotten. It's awful. And most of us have fallen for it at one point or another. So when we look at the water retention, the puffy feet, it only happens when I fly. It only happens when I sit too long. It's still happening. So typically this goes from the liver to the heart. The heart is the retention, and it starts more problems. So get to the bottom of that. The next one is your estrogen. If you have a lot of breast pain, you have inflammation, lumps, fibrosis, this is also an estrogen issue. And from here, also in the estrogen, if you have super heavy cycles and you just feel really bad, and every single time you get it, you get massive cramps, diarrhea, you have to lay in bed, you're lethargic, you're tired, you just aren't functioning right. This is an estrogen issue, which goes right back to the metabolizing in the liver. You also had weight gain. Maybe you see it in your lower body more than you do your upper body. Women that have estrogen issues are always heavier in the lower body than they are in the upper body. And it's completely the opposite on the testosterone. So now we move to the upper body, the belly fat, the torso, the back fat, the bra fat, the back of the neck fat, the face fat, lack of hair, more hair, on your chin, lack of hair on your head. This is where men, if they drop low in their testosterone, they start to get man boobs. They start to have ED. They no longer can get an erection. They don't have healthy, they have dysfunctional sex, right? Like, I had to put the words together there. Sorry about that. But this testosterone is really big because you need it to have a healthy body. We need it to build muscle. And they think it's actually for the females. There's a female hormone of testosterone. And for men, when they drop down, they become estrogen dominant. And now they're looking at cancer. They're looking at lots of problems. And for women, we lose our testosterone and we are the old gray mare that goes out to pasture. Everybody should have a nice, healthy sex drive, and you should desire to have sex. If that's not working, you most likely have a liver issue that's not metabolizing your testosterone. And now we have a secondary problem that was in the beginning just a liver issue, right? And they're like, oh, take Viagra or go on this or take your female testosterone, whatever it is. Get your blood work done, see where your hormones are, get a hormone panel done, and then you can look at your estrogen, your testosterone, and what is going on also with the progesterone. That is something that a lot of people like to overlook. But in my life, progesterone was a huge key to keeping me stable, especially during Graves' disease. Every time Graves' disease had a flare up or it became really radical, typically my progesterone was too low. And if I went on a compound progesterone, testosterone cream, everything came right back up and I could stabilize again. Not knowing then what I know today, the doctors never looked, to my knowledge, of my liver. They never said, well, the reason why you're low is because of this. No, they just said you're low because you're in menopause or you're perimenopause or, oh, you lost your cycle. Don't worry about it. Life is over. No, it's not over, you guys. You should be like literally men. You should not have this issue. Men can have sex until they're 100 years old. You should be reproducing that sperm on a regular basis by having good testosterone. Women, the same thing. You should be able to build that lean muscle mass and work past the loss of your cycle and keeping the body healthy. We do sprinting workouts, HIIT workouts, muscle mass workouts, TNT workouts. All of this builds your libido. It builds up your testosterone. And most importantly, if you can replace that damaged skin, the cell rejuvenation, then you are going to replace the flab with lean muscle mass. Who cares what you weigh on the scale? It's not even important. What's important is that you're healthy. So stop looking at the scale, stop worrying about that number, but instead focus on your metabolic rate, your metabolic age, and not your chronical age. Like, you don't want to be there. If you're 65 and it says you're 32, kudos to you, right? That's where I want to be. Well, that's where I am. And then focus on your BMI, focus on what calories at rest you're burning, focus on what is your body fat, what's your visceral fat. If you're going to focus on numbers, those are the numbers I want you to look at. Even on bone density or mass muscle, you have to remember that is not, it says muscle mass, but that's not always muscle. A lot of times it's bone as well. You're increasing that, which makes you weigh more, your skeleton. So focus on those numbers. They are a lot more important. That's a whole nother talk that we'll get back to. Today, the liver will help you accomplish nailing these numbers. If you're going to chase numbers, I recommend to go look in that mirror and see how you look, how you feel, because the liver also dictates your body size, your shape, right? This is so critical because if you can go to the mirror and see your pear shape, you typically have a liver issue. Most people go, no, it's genetic. No, it's not genetic. You could have a defective liver from birth, and then you work through that, but you don't just get genetically fat. Very, very few people, I think it's 3% of Americans are genetically overweight because of, they're born that way. That's not us. That's not me. I can look at my family and see generations of obesity, but if I do everything right, I'm not obese. But the second I do everything wrong, I fall into their pattern and I eat their foods. I am right back where they are. So quit doing the they and start doing you. All right, let's look forward to when we're metabolizing in the liver, we're talking about the minerals, the sodium, and the potassium. People who have heart issues, high blood pressure, they're like, it's not my liver's great, my heart is great. Okay, the heart might be healthy, the liver is struggling, and the blood pressure, the flow, its job is struggling. And you're going to see it because you're not getting the proper sodium and potassium filtered through your liver to get to your heart what it needs, right? So then we start with this fluid retention around the heart, which is high blood pressure. And I have so many people who go, no, it's not an enlarged heart. Yes, it is. Your heart can be healthy, but the fluid around it might not be healthy because it's not getting what it needs from the liver. So if you have these signs and you get your liver working, the blood pressure will also get under control. If you're eating the sugar and the carbohydrates and you're drinking drugs, prescription medication, it can all throw off the heart rate. And the doctor's going to go, oh, well, let's just change your medication. Come on, guys, get back to that liver. You could do this. Also, sex hormones. This is natural. We were made to reproduce. We were made to have sex. It's also part of your dopamine. It's also part of your serotonin. This is all connected together with the estrogen and the testosterone. No sex drive, low sex drive, erectile dysfunction, whatever it is, it's in your liver. So if you can get that liver functioning again and you do the right things, you get the sodium and the potassium and the water, you're going to start manufacturing those sex hormones, and your drive, especially for a man, it's going to be harder, it's going to be firmer, you're going to feel better about your ejaculation, because if your ejaculation is very quick and it's very sensitive, typically it's because of a liver issue. So pay attention to that, work with your partner on it, and see if you can get yourself to where you just feel much better, not only in bed, but in life. You're just feeling so much better, because along with that becomes depression. And it also will bring in frustration, fatigue, and feeling like you just don't have a desire to go on, but you really want to go on, but you can't really explain the depression and the low energy level that you're suffering from. Again, all of this will come together if you stop sugar, 0 sugars. Do your best. There's over 500 names. Know them. Figure it out. No sugar, period. Natural form. Beef, water, and salt. If you're going to go into the bacon and the pork, don't put sauces on it. Don't do anything to it. Cook it, make it, eat it in the natural form, and go forward from there. If you are reactive through histamines to pork, take it out of your diet. You do need some fish here and there. Do you have to have a lot of fish? No. Is sushi good? No. We go back to parasite issues. Become an investigator of all things that go in your mouth and ask yourself, does this serve my life, my seat, my organ? This is my life organ right here. Is everything I'm doing serving it? And if it's not, make that choice to stop. Even if it's hard, remember, the pain will get you to the pleasure. And if you could get over that and you become proactive instead of reactive, in the long run, you're going to be around for your grandchildren, your children, your friends, your family. It's going to be a wonderful life, because you're going to start healing. In the mind too. 0 carbs. Carbs are sugar. I have people all day long. I go, so what kind of carbs are you eating? Or what, they're like, well, I don't have a sweet tooth. I don't really crave, cheesecake, this and that. And I'm like, well, what do you eat? Oh, I eat, rice, and I have brown rice, and I'm eating fibers. And you guys, those are carbs. And even non-alcoholic beer or pop, that's sugar-free, it still has carbohydrates, which are going to convert, and a non-functioning liver, they're not going to convert, and it's going to lead to a type 2 diabetes. Your A1C is going to continue to rise. Your insulin is going to continue to rise, because the liver isn't functioning properly, which leads to lots of problems. So no sugar, no carbs, and you don't need the fiber. You just don't need it. Oh, but I'm constipated. Then bring up that fat just a little bit. Depend on how much rendered fat you're going to have versus cold fat. It's going to make a huge difference in your life. We have to take time to figure that out. It's a new journey. You've never walked through this before. It's unfamiliar territory, but you're going to get it. And if you do the coaching program, I promise you this course will help you be educated. I give way more than you could ever imagine. Most days you're probably going, does she ever shut up? And I do apologize for that, but there's a lot to be said. I feel like 45 years, 47 years, there's a lot of testimonies there that can help set you free to be a better person. Now, what do you need? You need healing, number 1. So mind, body, and spirit. We have to get our body in motion, right? I don't care if it's 35 feet. I have one client, she couldn't even walk, like literally getting out of her vehicle to get to the front door, which maybe 25, 35 steps was almost impossible without a walker, whatever. I said, take 3 extra steps a day. 10 extra steps. Eventually she got to her mailbox. Then she started a mile, and then 5 miles. She hadn't worked in over 20 years. She'd been on disability. She had 29 medications, all kinds of autoimmune disease. She is completely healed, has a full-time job, works 48 hours a week, feels amazing, and lost over 170 pounds. It can be done, but don't ever expect it to be an Amazon time. It's not going to be delivered today. This is something that you must work at because we didn't work at it. So if you gave yourself grace for 40 years of not doing it, why not give yourself grace for 40 years to accomplish it? And I know that seems ridiculous. 40 years, coach, yeah, seriously. If this is it till the day you die, do it. That's all I can say is just do it, right? Okay, so the fiber you don't need, the sugar you don't need, the carbs you don't need, but you do need fat and protein. So the fat is your energy source and the protein is to redevelop those cells. Everything in our body needs some protein, but too much protein is going to lead back to weight gain. And if you're building lean muscle mass, you want to get bigger, you're not concerned about the scale, you want more muscle mass, increase the protein to handle the weight. But if you're more sedentary and you're not getting up and working out every day, be very careful, because if you take that protein up too high, I'm not saying for sure, but depending on each individual, you could end up with it spilling over, going to storage in your fat cells as a reserve energy for the future. So just know the program, follow the program, and you will get to where you want to be. And if we have to make adjustments, we make adjustments. There's nothing set in stone here. It literally is to help you be the best you can be, because maybe what's working for one person won't work for you, but there's a baseline there between dopamine, serotonin, the liver, your hormones, a baseline that helps all of us be men or women, right? So that's where we want to start. Okay, a liver detox tonic. So when I first started this, I did a tonic and I bought it. I think it's called Liver for Life. I did it for 3 months. I took it every single morning and I loved it. I loved the benefits of it. Kenneth hated it. He did not want it. He did not like the taste of it. It's very dirt tasting. But as time went on, I realized that yes, it was working. I do believe that it did kick me off to have a healthier liver. But I also realized it was made from plants, right? And so, of course, I wanted to get all plants out of my system from the damage of what they bring in, depending on how it was harvested and processed and how much chemicals were actually coming back into my liver. So I got a little bit more strict on it. I did go with the Liver Association, which also stood by and absolutely is an advocate for doing the liver detox, which I offer. Now, from the liver detox, along with that, it has shown great results is milk thistle. So if you have a liver issue or you've never heard about taking milk thistle, which again, we're going back to a plant or a seed, can they have some benefits? I believe they do. I believe dandelion is really good. But do you have to do it? No. Do the beef, the water, and the salt, and you're going to see that come along. But let's just say you had cirrhosis. Milk thistle can help really, really stop the deterioration of the liver and help the new part of the liver grow and be healthy. You must make that decision on whether you feel like plants and vegetables are good in a medical way or you're not going to do them at all. Your choice, no judgment. I'm just here to listen and help you. Glutathione is amazing. It definitely heals the liver. If you're not on it, you could check with a doctor or your functional medicine, whoever, and they might say, hey, yeah, that will definitely help your fatty liver disease. Get on it. The next one is NAC. NAC has been shown to do lots and lots of miracle. It is something that we take every single day and we take it for our liver. So all three of those we do. The other thing in this program, I get asked all the time, especially if you're in the portal, you're going to see that there's eggs and avocado and lemon and there's fish and there's like pork, there's all these things. It's a baseline, it's a start, but from there you might start to see some reactions to your body. Hey coach, I just ate this, but I got like this. What should I do? Stop eating it. It's pretty simple. Stop right there. If you have not gone through your portal, you don't know where your portal is, I highly recommend you come back to the Warrior page, watch that, get signed into your portal, which you received when you joined the course, and you own it forever. So utilize it. Go slow. Don't get overwhelmed, because we don't need to stress our adrenal glands and our liver mentally as well as what we're consuming. But the greatest level of healing that liver and your testosterone levels, literally it's steak and eggs. We are, this group at this very moment, we're off eggs, but we're going back on them. My body misses them. We want them, but if you have an egg allergy, you may not be able to have them for a while. until your body changes the histamine levels, and then you could reintroduce it and try it. If you break out again, you know you're not ready. You know that's not processing, metabolizing properly inside the liver. However, the greatest testosterone that you can have is steak and eggs. That is going to bring up that level to be strong, to be a warrior, and to go from being so wounded and broken, stuck in bed, on the couch, the side, whatever it is, in that game. You're going to be out there, you're going to be learning, you're going to be able to move the weights, you're going to get stronger. And most importantly, we're going to get longevity, mobility, we're going to have vitality, and we're going to live to be over 100. Even if I only had one more day, I will never regret taking the steps I took to get healthy. Never, ever, ever could anybody ever say that was wrong, ever. And if I die today, I'm telling you right now, I died living my best life. And that's where I want you to be, because our days are numbered. We don't know how much time we have, but what we do know is that we need to serve him in everything we do. We need to realize that being a gluttony is a sin. And if you're still indulging in those buffets, the fair food, the ice cream, celebrating that way, you might want to check it. I'm not a judge. I'm just having discernment. You guys take care. Have a great day. And as always, I love each and every one of you. Be strong. Be that warrior, because the victorious side is coming to you soon. Take care and God bless.